Good morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to what is a very cloudy, humid, hot Dubai. It's currently 7 AM and it's 36 degrees, so it's going to be a long summer. But in today's video I'm going to run you through a full day of eating to get summer ready, but also to stay summer ready. So I'm going to run you through meal by meal exactly what I am currently eating at the minute. I feel like I've been in cruise mode with my own physique for such a long period of time since stopping bodybuilding, and it's finally time to lock in. With everything closing really in Dubai, there's not a lot to do. So I'm going to lock in for the next 8 to 10 weeks, improve my own shape, get shoot ready. I'm going to take you guys along the way. So in today's video, we're going to show exactly the starting position of the food, the meals, macronutrients, and why I've set it up like that. So we're going to get this morning walk in, get a little bit of fresh air, maybe get a coffee, and then we're going to get into it. It certainly wouldn't be Sunday morning without nipping to my favourite barista in the whole of Dubai, which is Roasters. So I come in here and I either get a flat white with almond milk, remember I'm dieting, or I get a cortado. Thank you, mate.
Welcome,
thank
sir.
you. Even the tunes are popping off nice and early. Morning, how are you? Good, how are you? Can I get a cortado with almond milk, please? Is that right? Takeaway, yes, please. There'll certainly be none of these today.
Morning to closing.
Yeah, it's very lively. It's the heart of the beachfront. Thank you, thank you. So went for the cortado this morning. However you pronounce it, cortado. And again, a little tip: when you are dieting, don't get unnecessary calories from your coffee. So I went against the cappuccino and I went against the latte then with almond milk because it's a few hundred calories. But that is 10-10. So I'm gonna get back now and get straight into what's gonna be a pre-workout meal. Now, I usually, in previous videos, you may have seen me fast since stopping bodybuilding and train fasted. Now, I'm chasing physique development, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an update of where I'm at with my own fitness journey today. But at the minute, it's super important that I fuel for performance, so my sessions are good, whether that's for conditioning and whether that's for weights, because I felt like when I was training fasted, I was thinking about food halfway through my session, and that's never ideal. So I'm going to get into a pre-workout meal right now, which by the way is my favorite meal of the day. What we have here is 100 gram of banana, we have 10 gram of peanut butter, and then 10 gram of honey. And then what we do is we stack it like that, 4 rice cakes, and then make sure you've got a drink. But usually it's like 45 minutes before the gym. And the reason, like I said, I'm eating this now is because people will train fasted because it suits the routine, and it is very good when it is to suit your routine and to get ahead of the day. And you might get up that early that you've not got time for food. But believe me, when you train with a meal like this, which is just carbohydrates and a slight bit of fats to slow down that absorption, you will get better pumps if you complement that with fluid, and your sessions will be better. So I'm going to get into this, but this is how the day usually starts for me now. 4 rice cakes, 100 gram of banana, 10 gram of peanut butter, and 10 gram of honey. Give it a shot. So we just touched down at the gym now, at the local gym, which is 7 in Dubai. Unbelievable gym. If you've not had a chance to visit, if you visit in Dubai, definitely check it out. Facility is just, it's an experience, it's nice. But I thought now was a good opportunity to give an update on myself. So obviously 12 months officially post bodybuilding. 12 months since I stopped bodybuilding, since I stopped taking anabolic steroids. And I think you can all see the growth of me as a person in that 12 months, the growth of my business, how much more confident I am in my own skin. And that's huge for me because bodybuilding's amazing. The craft of consistent progression and building a physique of your dreams, I absolutely love it. But for me, it just wasn't what I needed mentally, unfortunately. And that's why I pulled back, of course. And mentally now I feel in control, right? I like what I see in the mirror. I can run, I can perform, I'm strong, I'm fit, I'm healthy. And for me, that's what fitness is about overall. Everybody has different goals, and I think it's important not to have an opinion of other people's goals and what they're currently doing. because that's their choice at that time. I've done everything. I've competed naturally, competed assisted, and now I'm obviously looking at conditioning high rocks and still having a very, very high level physique. So obviously the original plan was to do a high rocks, we got the stress fracture, and then plan B was high rocks in Australia. That's still the current plan, but my partner has actually got a broken ankle. So it's finding another partner and seeing if we're actually going to do that. But of course I'll keep you guys up to date. And then at the minute, post Marbella, I was so inspired by what my clients are doing from a physique standpoint. I was like, come on old man, come on Ben, switch up. So I got back and I locked into a photo shoot prep. The coach who's in control is my brother, Josh Bray. If you've not had a look at him, check him out on Instagram. Amazing results, amazing coach. I just wanted the brain work taken away. I just wanted him to deal with everything. I run my own business. I deal with everything else in life. I just wanted to say, Ben, eat that, do that amount of cardio, and I'll deliver. So we're a few weeks into that now, and I think what I wanted to do out of today's video is show you how to go through a photo shoot prep process, how you don't actually have to suffer to the final few weeks if you do it properly, and how you actually can eat a diet that is sustainable, where you can have a solid amount of energy to be able to perform, to be able to cognitively think day in, day out, until the final stages. So the goals at the minute are just to look good, feel good and perform good. High rocks is going nowhere. Even if I don't do it in 4 weeks, I'll do it at some point because I love this style of training. I love being able to run an 8k, 10k, a 12k, 15k. I love being able to deadlift 140, 150, 160. I love being able to press 120, 130, 140. I love being able to squat 120, 130, 140. That's an all-rounder for me. So it's just my high standards. I want more from my physique, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm sat at 80 kilogram as of this morning, flat. A week of dieting, not really much has changed. I'm just fuller and a little bit leaner. And we're going to get into today's session, which is just a conditioning session, but we're going to complement it with a few press-ups and a few pull-ups. That's how I'm keeping a lot of the muscle is I'm still weight training 4 times a week. I've mixed that numerous times. I dropped it to 2, I dropped it to 3, it wasn't enough. So now I'm doing that 4 times a week, push, pull, legs, upper, and then usually 2 conditioning sessions, 2 runs, and then I do cardio after every weight session at like 20, 25 minutes. So I'm active. But today's session's a little conversational session. We call it 3 minutes in every station, deadlifts to kick off. Let's get it. That is the workout done. Ended up being a bit of a longer one. Look at the whips. Lambo, Lambo, Lambo. But we did a conditioning session, which was an hour long, into then 20-minute stairs because Claudia was getting a massage. What that session consisted was pretty much every station and then a run in between for 3 minutes every station. Just set a wall ball PB 69 unbroken, which is exactly what I needed. So it shows the running and building up the engine is definitely paying off. But I am one hungry boy. It's a bit of a later start today, so it's literally 10 past 10. So get home, post workout, and then we're into a big day of check-in. Sunday is the new Monday. But I'm fucked after that, so I need some food, and it's a big post-workout meal, so it smiles all round. Post-workout meal, so we've got 70 oats, 40 whey, 150 mixed berries, 10 gram of dark chocolate, and then 5 gram of honey. Now, if you're in a dieting phase, this is a great meal. And the reason for this is because it'll keep you full. It's got a breakdown of proteins, carbs, and minimal fats. Obviously, the fats in this meal will just slow down the absorption of carbs as well, which is always quite a nice tool to do in a deficit. However, if you're in an off season, this is where things such as cereal come into play because you can eat a lot of that. If I was to eat, let's say, 80 gram of cereal, 70 gram of cereal, it wouldn't touch the sides. At the minute, I'm in a diet. So every meal, I want it to pack a punch. I want the nutrients to be good, but I want it to keep me full as well. So a great amount of protein, great amount of carbs, and a minimal amount of fats is perfect post-workout. What we've actually got is overnight oats. So I have 2 servings of oats. So what I decided to do is I do overnight oats for my post-workout because it lasts a little bit longer. And then later on in the day, I'll have cooked oats and I'll show you how I do them. But this probably it's like every meal on my diet. I love it. And that's why I'm able to stay in shape, because I don't look forward to moving away from my plan. Of course, I enjoy a nice steak or some off-plan food, but I have that little feeling inside of me that you might get, that I just look forward to getting back on plan, look forward to eating healthy because it fuels me properly. So let's get tucked in. This meal, in order to make it effectively, you need to make sure that your whey protein is a good whey protein and it goes into a paste very well. Otherwise, it's diabolical. It should look a little bit like this, like a little cake. Now we're on to my snacks. So if you're anything like me, I like snacks. Doesn't matter how much food I'm eating, I like to have something to snack on, whether that's in between work or whether that's just watching TV. So in this instance, it's in between work, so just halfway through some check-ins. And what I've got in this bowl is 300 gram of watermelon and then 150 gram of apple. Watermelon, amazing in a dieting phase. Full of water, shock. And then an apple, again, is superb for digestion. So in this meal, I've literally got the best part of 450 gram of fruit, which is only 40-ish gram of carbs. Again, no fat and protein at about 1 to 2 gram, 180 calories. And this will keep me full for an hour because I'm greedy. But if you're dieting and you're struggling, thinking, what can I snack on? Get this bad boy in your diet, because it takes absolutely no time to prepare, and generally in terms of the macros and what it does for you in the phase, it's hard to find something better. This is the key to dieting: sustainability, but also not rattling through work thinking, when am I next eating? I'm absolutely starving. Of course, at some points in a diet you're going to be hungry, facts. But this is the start of my diet. So the key here is to essentially allow me enough food to perform, but also enough food to be able to pull away later down the line. Banging. And then we're actually in to what's going to be a cooked meal. These meals that I have next are staples, not just in my dieting phase, but also in my off seasons. They keep me full, keep me satiated, and I would eat them all day, every day. This is a staple in every diet that I've ever done, and I have this meal twice. So what we've got here is 150 chicken, 250 potatoes, 100 greens, and the next meal is exactly the same. I don't necessarily always have that as the next meal. I might have my eggs, sourdough, egg whites, or my oats. Generally, a lot of people focus too much on, have I got to have this meal next? Have I got to have that meal next? And if you're struggling just sticking to a diet, just make sure you tick each day off. Of course, having carbs pre, post is always very beneficial, and of course placing carbs around the day when you need them is super important as well. But in my case today, you will see across the full meal plan that I essentially have carbs in every single meal. So in terms of the nutrients that I'm getting, it's very much, let's say, respective every single meal. It's very much similar each meal. So get tucked into this. One thing I want to touch on as well that I always will talk on full days of eating is like sauce and seasoning. So I've got herbs and I've got Cajun on this, but I don't go absolutely ham on it, like literally 5 gram of herbs, 5 gram of Cajun. And then the sauces that I typically go for is I've got the hot sriracha. That's my go-to. I just literally have 10 gram per cooked meal, so 20 gram a day. I do like the reduced 70% salad cream, but again, a little bit more heavy on the calories, and the sweet chili, which is extra reduced. A lot of people go wrong and can't stick to diets because they just eat plain chicken and rice, or chicken and potatoes and chicken and broccoli. I love sauce, I love seasoning, as does this little man. Look at him. What do you want? So we're gonna get tucked into this, get back into some work, but make sure as well you're having pink Himalayan salt with your meals. Not only does it make it taste nicer, but also better for nutrient transport. So I have this meal twice. We've got 150 chicken, 250 potato, 100 tender stem, and then I also have 10 gram of hot sauce. Seasoning on this is 5 gram of Cajun, 5 gram of herbs, and I repeat this meal again in the following meal, as I've said. And the reason for this is because it keeps me full. So it keeps me nice and full, keeps me satiated, I enjoy it. And for most people, it might be repetitive. If it is, maybe swap the potatoes for the rice, but you're in a dieting phase, so potatoes are gonna keep you fuller. So remember, keep things simple. I prep 2 meals in 1 serving here, so it's sufficient for my day, and it works for me. As I said, keep the diets in place that work for you. Now for the favourite meal of the day: 3 eggs, 100 egg whites, 100 cherry tree tomatoes, 80 sourdough. Now imagine if I dropped that, there'd be a few disappointed people in that pool, wouldn't there? I'm gonna sit here on the balcony and enjoy this with Crunch, because Crunch has Definitely here, look at him. Do you want some, little man? You do, don't you? Look, not that he likes eggs. Now, a little bit around this meal and why we have it. So, obviously, in a dieting phase, it's about eating foods that are going to keep you full. So, eggs for me are great to do that, and egg whites are amazing. Now, if you look, the egg whites I've got scrambled. However, usually what I would do is put them into an omelette, but there's only 100 gram. On a rest day, these are increased to 300. So this is where using foods again to keep you full is super important. Sourdough, great on digestion. Generally doesn't keep me that full, but I just enjoy it. So it's sustainable. Look at the little man. See if we can see him. What do you want? We're gonna get tucked into this. This again is a meal that I could eat all year. I have to be a little bit experimental with eggs. Sometimes get bored of them fried, so I'll run them poached. Sometimes get bored of the scrambled, so I'll run it as an omelette, as I've said. But let's get tucked into it before crunch does. That for me is one of my favourite meals. It packs a punch with the fried eggs and then the little egg whites as scrambled. Now I've got a little Coke Zero. Common question I get asked is how many sugar-free drinks can I have on a day-to-day basis? Completely up to you in a deficit. It has no impact on fat loss, and there's recent literature and studies out showing that it has no impact on fat loss. However, everybody will have a threshold. These have sweeteners in it. So I personally have 1 or 2 if I'm struggling. I've not been struggling at all today, so this is the first one. And it is just generally to kind of tick me over while I'm doing a little bit of work and a few more check-ins before wrapping up for the evening. But Sundays are the new Mondays, so as you can see, full day on plan, up nice and early, hit a big session at the gym. All clients have had same day feedback. So I run things at New Gem really, where if you check in before 10 AM UK time, bearing in mind that's 1 PM my time, you'll get same day feedback. If it's after that, you'll get your feedback the next morning. It's very prompt, and the clients love that because they're checking in and they're literally getting the feedback like that, which is good, and especially it drives that momentum. But as you can see, I'm eating foods that I love. And the thing is, people look at a diet, and what they do in a diet is they'll set themselves the least amount of food to eat and the most amount of cardio to do. Now, what you need to remember is if you look at the food that I've ate so far, it's quite a lot, right? Carbs with every meal, X, Y, and Z. Now, I move a lot, so it's important to remember that I do, like it's 6:30, 6 o'clock now, and I've already done 12,000 steps, okay? I get my movement done in the morning, I get some more done in the evening. I train pretty much 6 days a week, sometimes 7. So my activity levels are very high, so I can eat a lot. Now, if you're somebody who's sedentary, who doesn't move a lot, you might do 8 to 10,000 steps, train 2 to 3 times a week. You can't get away with eating as much as I can. So this diet here is reference for the food types that you can eat. The macros are very much suited to me and what I need in terms of recovery from protein, carbohydrates for energy, and fats obviously to aid bodily functions and keep hormones in a good range, as I'm now optimizing naturally. Use it as a sheet to say, okay, I can have eggs, I can have oats, I can have dark chocolate, I can have peanut butter, I can have a lot of fruit. And if you look, everything today is pretty much single ingredient. So I'm very much enjoying that because I'm not eating anything processed. There's nothing against processed. It's just the goal for me at the minute is to obviously utilize foods that are going to keep you full. And with a lot of processed foods, spike dopamine, essentially spike ghrelin, and they'll give you those quick fixes, but they don't really serve a purpose in terms of keeping you full. So top tip, into a few more check-ins, and then we've got another meal. Food doesn't stop. Anybody that think I'm in an off-season, you'll comment saying, how are you eating that food and looking like that? Activity levels, but again, education on nutrition. 8 to 10 weeks of dieting is going to be enough, and we'll drop food most weeks. We'll increase output if we need to, but we've got exactly what we need here to succeed from a starting position. And every week now, I'll keep you up to date on where food's at. Good afternoon, mate. Hope you're well. Thank you for your check-in. Hope you had a lovely weekend. So week one with New Gen is all about setting the standards, okay? Outlining the expectations. What have you done well? What do you need to improve on if you need to improve, and the plan for the following week. So as you can see, before the check-in, we've outlined the notes. The wins, the nutrition, the training, the physique, the cardio and the steps, the sleep, the questions that you have, and then obviously any changes. Now, I was just working my way through check-ins there, and a client asked a really good question, and it refers back to the point that I've just mentioned as well around me eating based off my needs. So if you're watching this thinking, well, Ben, this is amazing, like I can see what you eat, but I ain't got a clue. Like I like all that food, I can build a plan, but how do I build a plan? I've got a website for you, and I mentioned this on previous videos, but I'm gonna spin it around so you can see. So this is www.calculator.net/macro calculator. So macro calculator, right? Let's say you've got the US metrics and US units. You've got the metric units and then other units, right? So I use the metric units. So let's say we use you're 25. Let's say here you're 25 years old, right? So this is how we'd set it up. So 25 years old. In my case, I'm 191 centimeters. I'm joking. Let's go 176 centimeters. Then obviously weigh 80 kilogram. Now, if you train every day, it's going to be very intense exercise 67 times. And then what's your goal? Do you want to maintain weight? Do you want to have extreme weight gain, standard weight gain, mild weight gain? Now, it's important that you understand, as a natural, you want to be targeting pretty much what I would define as anywhere between 0.25 to 0.5 every single week. If you're against the time frames here and you've got 8 weeks, you want to maybe go for this. Likewise with gain, I would never encourage, if you're trying to build muscle, extreme weight gain at 2 pounds, because you're going to add fat with that. Okay, so I always say as a natural 0.25 to 0.5. So regardless of the phase, that's what you're targeting. If then in the week you only gain 0.25, that's when you know you're adding some more food, because if you don't, then you're probably going to stop gaining weight and it's going to be very slow. Okay, so let's say I want to have a weight loss of £1 pound a week. What that then does is you have either a balanced diet, low fat, low carb, or high protein. Now, I always would go for a high protein in a deficit, because this is the hardest macronutrient to digest and it will keep you full. So high protein, I'd be on 220. My carbs would be 291. My fats would be 66, 2,571. So you can see it's not that aggressive, yeah? And that no matter what you pick, whether you go balanced, low fat, low carb, or high protein, the calories stay the same. That is a very useful tool. If you're struggling with a diet, take my diet from today and get on this app, and you will be able to create your own diet based off your own goal. So 9 p.m, final meal now, and this is what I call my nightcap. This keeps you nice and full. Pre-bed, I usually have it like an hour and a half before bed. Sometimes go to bed a little bit earlier, but it's been a bit of a longer day today. So this is my warm-ups. I'm going to show you this. This is good. I'm going to show you how I pour it. So as you can see here, we've literally got what is the 10 gram of dark chocolate. We've got 150 mixed berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. We've got 40 gram of whey, and then we've got 80 oats. And then what I do is, the important thing is getting the whey paste right. So I'm going to show you exactly how that should look. And then we've got some cinnamon just to finish that off as well. So a lot of people get the whey paste wrong. And it's like, how hard is it? What you do, and just so you know, because a lot of people ask with the oats, I had 80 gram of oats. I did 350 ml of water. A common question is, what milk do I have? I had water. I'm in a diet. I don't need any calories from milk. And then I put it in the microwave for 2 minutes, take it out, stir it, and I put it back in the microwave then for another 30 seconds, and it's good to go. But this is pretty much what you want the paste to look like. So look at that, boom. And then if we get a little live update on that, then you can see it's exactly what it looks like. Your whey protein paste, that's caramel biscuit flavour, and it's just packed with proteins, fats and carbs, good quality nutrients pre-bed. And then we get tucked into that. I add a little bit of cinnamon on top, and then we're good to go, team. So as you can see, like, this is a good amount of food. Like, we're talking 2,800 calories on a training day. I've moved a lot today, so if I look at my total step count now, obviously including my cardio, which was on the stairs for 20 minutes, and then my high intensity interval training, I'm sat at 17,000 steps. So I'm moving a lot, I'm training hard, so you need to fuel for performance. Where people commonly go wrong in a diet is they'll undereat and they'll overmove in the first initial couple of weeks. And what happens then is they'll essentially not leave any wiggle room to be able to increase their output, or essentially reduce the food. So you've always got to have a roadmap in place. You've always got to have a time frame in place, and you've always got to understand at what point you make decisions in terms of reducing food or increasing output. So hopefully you found this video helpful. I know you love the full days of eating, and that's why I'm going to take you through the photo shoot prep. One, to hold me accountable to myself and to you guys, so you can see essentially where I'm starting to where I'm going to get to and how far you have to push, because a photo shoot's not easy, but when you've done it 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times, you know what works. So as always, gang, I'm going to tuck into this, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to watch the Formula 1 highlights. Thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one.